Arkansas and Vanderbilt meeting for the first time since 2011. Let's cross it over.
You are Locked On College Crossover, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome into another edition of, this edition of the Locked On College Crossover. It's Locked On Vandy. I'm your host, Corey Burton. Joining me in this crossover is the host from Locked On Razorbacks, John Nabors. Got a great show, and this is going to be an interesting matchup. First time since 2011 that these two teams will meet. They will be meeting in Nashville. It's a new era in Fayetteville. John, what are the year one expectations for Ryan Silverfield? What's going on with the team right now?
Well, let me real quick. I just want to clarify that it's first time they're meeting in Nashville since 2011. They did meet against each other in 2018 in Fayetteville, to which the Chad Morris years we delete those though, so we don't even talk about those.
Yeah, we don't recognize that.
Yeah, so we don't talk about those because we know what happened. But yeah, it's been a crazy beginning of how the process has been going on. We know about Arkansas and their struggles, and Silverfield I think has done a lot of good things. But the problem is, it doesn't matter what you do in the offseason. It doesn't matter how many press conferences you do. It doesn't matter how many things you talk about or whatever. People want to see wins, and they're not going to get excited until wins. So I think the expectation is pretty low. Let's just be honest. But that means you can only go from here. So I think people are just kind of hopeful that maybe Ryan Silverfield shocks the world and really knows how to coach, especially in this league, and maybe does something new in year one.
And I know the reception the reaction was kind of lukewarm to start. Has that gotten any better? Has that improved? Are people more fired up about the team right now, or is it kind of just much of the same?
Well, it's weird because I'm going to use it as like a pendulum. When he was hired, and again, most people think that it was about Silverfield. It wasn't about Silverfield. It was about the whole process and reporting, because there was a quote report that they were hiring Alex Golesh and they didn't. So when they didn't, it ended up having an incendiary, more so reaction, but it was more towards the administration than it was to Silverfield. But either way, so imagine if everybody is just mad. Okay. Yeah. Now I would say they're in the middle. They're not excited. They're not pumped. They're not like, all right, let's go. Maybe some people are, but I think it's more of it's swung back into the middle where it's kind of neutral, where they've liked a lot of the things that he's done and said he seems to be a nice guy, energized and all of that. But there's just not that level of belief that just, here, year one, he's going to get cooking here, especially given the schedule and all that. So people will get excited a little bit more as we get closer to the season. But right now, I can tell you, as a Razorback fan growing up my whole life, this is the lowest level of excitement at any time in Razorback football in my entire life.
And to me, I don't think, and my whole thing with Ryan Silverfield is he could be one of the best coaches in the conference. We may never know, because I'm not sure he's going to get a fair shake because of how everything is unfolded for him. And I'm not sure that it's fair to him specifically, but I think just from a grand scheme of things, just because of the reaction, because of, we know he was their third, fourth, fifth choice because of what was reported, the hire just seemed like it just lost a lot of steam. And I think you couple that with the tough schedule you guys have out of the gates, it's going to be a tough go for him in year one. And it's kind of the same. It's probably not quite as bad. I don't know, maybe, but when Clark Lea took over at Vanderbilt was at its, and Vanderbilt's history is not very, very good. And they were at what I think is their lowest point of their program when Clark Lea took over. And he survived in year one. They celebrated like they won a Super Bowl when they beat a 1-win UConn team. I don't know if you remember that. And they lost. Oh, yeah. And then they lost to ETSU that season. So at that point, when he made that statement at SEC Media Days prior to that season, everyone laughed at him. But now, and no one in their right mind, John, would have thought in year 5 we'd be sitting here talking about Vanderbilt should have been in the playoff.
Yeah.
No one would have thought that would be even remotely in the ballpark. And my point is with Silverfield, if he can kind of survive these rough years and kind of get the program just moving forward, no matter how slow, I think things can go well for him. It's just I think it's going to be a lot longer, a lot slower of a process. And I hope that they give him that chance.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I mean, it's a matter of, how do you view yourself in the pro? And I think it's just hard for Razorback fans because we're talking about like 15 years of irrelevance, essentially. And I know that people who may be listening that are Vanderbilt fans or whatever, they're like, oh yeah, Crimea River, look at us. But it's like, it's the thing is like Arkansas, have they ever been to like the national championship level caliber program? I mean, no, but Arkansas has been to the SEC title game 3 times. Do people even know that? A lot of people don't. And they just joined the conference in '92 and they were there. And, when Bobby Petrino was the head coach, Arkansas went to a BCS bowl game, which is a massive deal back then. He had 2 years where he went 21-5 combined. And it's like, that was in 2010, 2011. So it's just, it's not that long ago, but it is that long ago.
It feels longer.
And you've had 1 winning record in the SEC since 2011, 1. And so you're in this purgatory of trying to where you remember, where you came from, you remember what it was like, but for whatever reason, whether it's leadership or what, but you just have been unable to capture that again. And what's made it tremendously worse, I'm just gonna be honest, is seeing teams like Vanderbilt win. Is seeing teams like Ole Miss win. Seeing teams that you feel you're just as good as or, better than as a program or should be. And it's like, they're figuring it out. They're doing something right. So what are we doing wrong? That's what makes it exponentially worse is because, and it's not, again, I'm not looking down on Vanderbilt, but it's just a matter of people in Arkansas say, if Vanderbilt can do it, why can't Arkansas? And maybe Silverfield will be the answer to that.
Maybe so. And definitely Vanderbilt has been the, perennial bottom of the league team. And a lot of it was admin getting in the way, whether it was university admin, almost completely disbanding the athletic department to ADs that just didn't really, they were just happy to be there. They were just happy to be competing in football and let's go dominate baseball. Let's try to win at basketball. Football, okay. We're going to get paid with football. We're grateful to be in the SEC. And I think when Clark Lea came in, he started the ball rolling, and then Jerry Kill helped him. Jerry Kill was like the closer. He helped him kind of wake up the admin. And now the admin are like, hey, we can actually be good at football and academics at the same time. It is possible. And that's what they're doing. They're participating in NIL, which Vanderbilt's a private school, and they have boatloads of money that people don't know about because they don't have to report it.
Yeah.
And it's becoming a big thing. They have guys like Nate Bargatze that's participating in NIL now.
Who apparently I look like, is this is what I heard.
Yeah,
I got compared to it.
Yeah. Hey, I'm Will Muschamp. You're Nate Bargatze.
Look at us.
Yeah. Right. So it's one of those things where like it's possible. And if Arkansas, if their admin could figure out the way to completely capitalize on NIL opportunities and really just dig into it, Arkansas could be that school because there's some good players in the state, obviously, but they border Texas, they border Louisiana, Tennessee. Like there's states all around them that have a ton of talent as well. And Tennessee, from a high school football perspective, is growing, especially in Memphis, especially in the big metropolitan pockets of Memphis, Nashville, Chattanooga, Knoxville. Those 4 places are really rapidly growing with talent. There's no reason Arkansas shouldn't be able to go into Memphis and start plucking guys away because them and Ole Miss are the 2 closest SEC programs. There's no reason why Arkansas shouldn't be able to do that. And they absolutely can. They just, for some reason, it's just, and I've heard you talk about Hunter Yurchek a bunch, and some of the things the whole naming right thing was kind of a mess. And I'm probably being a little mild about it, but things like that where you have opportunities to do really good things, you just don't, and you fumble, and you have an AD that fumbles quite a bit, it seems like, and it's just something. I think from an admin perspective, some things you got to change. The fans want it to be. They want to be there. It's not like the fans are, fair weather enough to where they're just going to scatter and go into the woodwork. They're dying for a great program. It's just not happening right now.
Yeah, and I think a lot of fans, because some people will be saying, well, what does Arkansas expect? It's no fan, in Arkansas is expecting to be a Georgia or an LSU or Tennessee or Texas or anything. Like, they're not expecting that. But what they are expecting is to be a team that always wins at least 6 games a year. Mm-hmm. Now, you want more than just 6, but I'm saying that has to be the floor. That has to be the bottom. And it makes it a little bit tougher nowadays because obviously with the 9-game SEC schedule, it throws a little wrench. But at some point in time, you just got to have some pride in your program again. And as I bring up, and I hate it, and then people are on my podcast and are tired of hearing me saying it, but the past decade, 10 seasons, 5 of them have ended with 1 SEC win or less. 5 of them. And I'm sorry, I know that football happens, and I know football at Arkansas is not going to be to the level of some of these other SEC programs. I get that. But that is unacceptable, and it's not about you can't compete, because the other stat that I throw around is that since 2012, Arkansas is 17-49 in 1-possession games. 17-49.
God, when you put it like that, holy cow.
Yeah, and so it shows that they're competitive. They're right there. They just don't have that winning culture, that winning mentality. And I did the math on it. If you just cut those losses in half, just cut them in half and made them wins, that's an average of over 2 extra wins a season since then. And imagine in the program, instead of being 6 wins, it's 8 wins. Instead of being 8 wins, it's 10 wins. Like, it changes everything. But you have to have a winning culture. You have to have a winning mentality. And whether it's coaches, whether it's leadership, whoever it is, they haven't had that. And that's why they're in the position they're in now. And that's why they have had so many close losses, is because they're competitive. They can do it. But when it matters the most, they have fallen short each and every time.
Well, speaking of being competitive, Arkansas and Vanderbilt have quarterback questions. Whether they're the same questions remains to be seen. But we're going to talk quarterbacks, John, next. The biggest stage in world soccer is here, and every match feels like it has the potential for a memorable moment. One goal can completely change the energy of a game, shift momentum, and alter the outcome in an instant. That's what makes tournament soccer so exciting, from the opening whistle to the final kick. Now, FanDuel is giving fans another reason to stay locked into every match with every goal pays. Bet on a match and get bonus bets for every goal scored in that match. More goals mean more bonus bets, and all you have to do is turn on your token. Now, what excites me most about this tournament? Well, I'll tell you what excites me most about this tournament. The U.S. has clinched the group with 1 game to play. I don't know a World Cup where the United States has played a meaningless 3rd group game, a game in which they have locked up the group and they're just playing out the string, so to speak. That's never happened in a World Cup. They've won the group. They won the group in 2010. They've advanced to the knockout stages before, but they've never done it like this. They've never done it looking so dominant. Like, teams can't match their speed. Like, Australia can't handle their speed. Years ago, last World Cup cycle even, Australia probably plays that a lot tighter, but U.S. was in no danger of losing that game. Paraguay would have been able to run with the United States probably a couple World Cup cycles ago. Now they couldn't handle them in the first matchup. So this is exciting for the United States. They could really go on a nice run. So I got my fingers crossed there. But that's what's exciting about this tournament. So and the more goals they score, the more you benefit. So from the opening whistle to the final kick, let there be goals on FanDuel. Visit FanDuel.com right now to get started. All right, welcome back. It is a college crossover here. John Nabors, Corey Burton, Locked on Razorbacks, Locked on Vandy, respectively. Make sure you join each of our Everydayers Club if you want to get your Arkansas Razorbacks fix completely ad-free, if you want to get your Vanderbilt Commodore fix completely ad-free. The link is in the show notes. Click it or go to lockedonvandy.supercast.com for more info. John, what's your link?
My link is lockedonrazorbacks.supercast.com. So really easy to find.
Yeah, really easy to find. So find it. Get your ad-free, get that extra level of content as well. So, John, we're talking quarterbacks, man. And for Vandy, they're locked in a, quote, for those of you on the audio side, I have to say, quote, quarterback competition. It's not a quarterback competition. It's Jared Curtis versus Blaise Berlowitz, and we know how that's going to go. So the question is how quickly can Jared Curtis get his feet under him in the college realm? But for you, John, I don't know if KJ Jackson versus Hill is a legitimate quarterback battle. How is that going to shake out? Is it KJ Jackson's to lose?
I mean, I think it is. I think it's KJ Jackson's. You know, I know the coaches have talked about how it's just, hey, it's a true battle. We're not going to make the decision. In fact, just given the way that they've put it, they're not going to officially make a decision, publicly at least, until literally like kickoff of game one. Like they are wanting that. And that's fine. Again, because if that's your new coach, you get the reins. If that's the way you want to handle it, that's the way you can handle it. But it better be able to perform. But my thing is when Ryan Silverfield got hired, he did his press conference and he had Quincy Rhodes, who is without question the best player on Arkansas's team and was arguably a first or second round NFL draft pick, but they got him back. So that was huge.
Yeah, that is
that's like one of the only players Arkansas had last year that could have done that. But they got him back. But Quincy Rhodes was at the press conference with him. And the other player was KJ Jackson. He like introduced like, hey, and I got KJ coming back and all of that. Now, you can say whatever you want. We can do it all day long, but you're not doing that for a backup quarterback. You know,
No.
you're not bringing in the guy at the press conference saying, hey, we got KJ back, only be like, and you're not playing. Like, that's not going to happen. So I think it's KJ Jackson. You know, I'm not saying that it's anything against AJ Hill, but it just feels like all those circumstances and the way things have gone, it's going to end up being KJ Jackson.
Now, from a talent standpoint, is KJ significantly better? I mean, I know all the hoopla is kind of giving you the clues, but like, is there a big talent gap there, or is it?
I mean, I don't think so. Honestly, I just think I think you got two quarterbacks that have certain strengths and a lot of weaknesses. Neither of them have played. Like, that's the thing is, you know, this day and age, you know it. You get a transfer quarterback, even if he came from D2 or something, like Trino, look at Trinidad Chambers. Like, that guy started and played, you know, for a team and was QB1. Neither of these guys have ever been QB1 at college. So, you know, it's a big thing there. But I think KJ Jackson, he's left-handed. I think he's got a strong arm.
For some reason, the left.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
southpaw. Love it.
Yeah, he's really good that way. And in fact, I think he's the first left-handed quarterback at Arkansas since Tavarius Jackson. So it's been a minute, but yeah, I think he's got all the intangibles. I think he's got what it takes. It's just a matter of like what I saw in spring did not look great from either one of them. Mm-hmm. Throwing downfield is not great, but to me, you don't need either one. Whoever starts, well, let's just say KJ Jackson, you don't need them to throw for 3,000 yards and 30 touchdowns. I mean, it'd be great if they did. What you need to them is just not screw up. Just, hey, don't make bad decisions. Don't throw picks. Like, let the run game, controlling the tempo. Like, that's the way Arkansas is going to win games this year. So I think that KJ might be a little bit better at that as far as just making those decisions, when to run, when not to run. But at the end of the day, I think he's the guy. I don't think the talent is that wide, but I think it at least is enough to make me believe that KJ Jackson is the better quarterback between the two.
And he can just move the offense down the field kind of situation. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
And at Vanderbilt, obviously we know it's going to happen. All the hoopla around Jared Curtis. If you read between the lines when anytime Clark Lea talks to the media and someone asks him a question about Jared Curtis, long-winded answer, seems like he's glowing, like that's it, you know. And then with the other quarterbacks, it's you know, it's some sort of coach speak, you know. So you can kind of tell just by reading the quotes. This is the worst kept secret of all time. Now, for Jared Curtis, it's going to be, you know, he has the ability to push the ball down the field. But with the run game the way it is, I don't know if the expectation is for him to throw for 3,000 yards and 30 touchdowns. Again, that would be great for a freshman to do. But again, you want him to get more comfortable each and every game. You want him to eventually get to that point to where he can throw for 350, 400 in a conference game. But you kind of have to build up to that point because the game still moves very fast for him as a freshman. He's got all the ability in the world, but sometimes he just gets scrambled a little bit, as most freshmen do. Coming from, you know, single A private school football here in Nashville to SEC is going to be quite a jump. So you're going to be dealing with some of those things. And luckily the schedule ramps up with Austin Peay, Delaware, then NC State before you get to Auburn. So you have those three games to kind of as kind of like a runway, kind of a smooth runway. Arkansas, unfortunately, does not have that for KJ Jackson. Y'all, week 2, you're out at Utah.
Yep. Yeah.
So,
Utah night game.
Yeah.
Great.
Utah night game followed by a Georgia early kick.
Yeah. Yeah. Isn't it great?
Yeah. I mean, it's phenomenal luck, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Whoever scheduled that was pissed off at Arkansas. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well,
I guess the whole Yurchek 6-7 thing pissed some people off. So they're like, you know what? Utah at night, Georgia at 11. Let's do it.
Well, hey, the Utah game is what it is, but the Georgia game, it wouldn't matter if you played on the moon. Arkansas is not winning that game, so it doesn't matter, like, as far as timing and all that. But I will say, I'm interested to see what happens post Diego. What's that going to be like over there at Vanderbilt? It's always tough to have the follow-up act, so it'll be interesting to see how they handle it. Yeah, and well, they got the perfect guy to try to handle it, so it'll be interesting to see what that looks like. And we're going to dive more into the significance of this game. We're going to do that next. But first, businesses, they try to run. Running a business should not feel like you're trying to connect a bunch of systems that were never designed to work together. One app for accounting, another for inventory, another for sales. Somehow, none of them talk to each other. And that's where Odoo comes in. Odoo is an all-in-one business management software that brings every part of your business together in one powerful platform. From sales and accounting to inventory and marketing, everything works in one place, helping your team move faster, stay organized, and focus on growing the business instead of managing the software. And John, as you know, and you know best, also the best organizations know that success isn't just about talent. It's about having everyone working towards the same goal. And that's true in sports, just like it is in business. And honestly, one thing that stands out to me is when organizations, they get everyone pulling in the same direction, whether it's by one decision or multiple decisions. I think for Clark Lea, coming off of what was the most abysmal season in his tenure in 2023, he made the decision to hire Jerry Kill. That set off a whole series of things to happen that put Vanderbilt in the position they are in right now. And it wasn't just one great player or coach. It started with one, but it blossomed into a bunch, and it was a coordinated effort across the entire organization that made it successful. Admin bought in, the AD bought in, the university bought in, the community bought in, and it was great. And it made everything successful. Great organizations win because operations matter, and that's why you should get Odoo. Try for free today at odoo.com/lockedon. That's odoo.com/lockedon. All right, everybody, we are crossing it over here. Locked on Razorbacks, John Nabors. Locked on Vandy, Corey Burton. At John Nabors Show, if you want to follow along with him on social media. At Locked on Vandy, if you want to follow along with me on social media. John, this game is mid-October, and it's one of those flex slots where it could be afternoon or night, if my memory serves me correct. And I think I have the here's the kickoff windows right here. So it is a flex, which means it could be afternoon or evening. So my hope is that it's an evening game, a night game in Nashville. I think that'd be a lot of fun. First Bank Stadium is going to look a lot different than the last time Arkansas was there. So that's going to be exciting. But the significance of this game for Arkansas at the point it's at in the season, how do you see it for Arkansas? Well, and this is going to be Arkansas's first chance of having a real shot at winning an SEC game, in my opinion, because you got Georgia, then at Texas A&M, and then Tennessee at home. So those are your first three SEC games. Now you got Tulsa in between there, but this is going to be their best shot at it. So, and it's also, they get the bye week after this game. So you're talking about having 6 straight games, 6 straight weeks. Are they hobbling in there? Are they banged up? Are they, going... And I'm not going to sit here and say that, it's as hostile of an environment at Vanderbilt as it is maybe at Texas A&M or at Utah. Let's just be honest about it. But it's like, wait. You're saying Vandy is not as hostile as A&M? That's blasphemy. That is blasphemy. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, don't worry. They'll do this for you too over there at the College Station and whatever. Yeah, whatever that crap is. But either way, it's a tough one. But it's like, this would be the one to where if Arkansas is going to have a good year. When I say a good year, I'm like 6 wins. that has to be a win that you get. Like that has to be the thing. Because listen, winning at Utah is not going to be easy. If you win that game, I think you have a great year. But if you lose that game, I mean, you are literally behind the 8 ball where you're like, all right, we have to win against Vanderbilt, against Missouri, Auburn, South Carolina. Like that's your next stretch. You got to find 3 wins in there if you don't beat Utah. So to me, it's crucial. It's important. It's that mid-year thing, but it's also going to be interesting just to see how Arkansas is handling. Because I'm telling you right now, if they got 1 win on the season or 2 wins on the season, they may let go of the rope over there in Nashville, and it could get ugly.
Yeah, that's definitely possible. And Vanderbilt's going to be very, very hungry as well for this game. And I think for Vanderbilt, obviously the must win is NC State. You have to go 3-0 in your first 3, obviously. With 2-0 shouldn't be hard, but NC State's going to be tricky. Then in your next 3 is Auburn, Georgia, and Ole Miss. So you got to get, I think, to have the season you want to have, the season that you dream of having, and to kind of repeat from last year, you gotta upset Georgia or you gotta upset Ole Miss. That's a tall order, very tall order. You have to beat Auburn. You have to get them now, because I don't think you're going to be able to get them much beyond. Because I think Golish is going to be he's at the rate he's recruiting. I don't think it's going to be long. And then your next stretch is Arkansas, Kentucky, Mississippi State, and where those programs are at this current moment, you have to get those.
Yeah.
Like, you have to get those. And where they are now, and this is, I don't know that Arkansas is going to be there long. I don't know how long Arkansas is going to be there, but for right now, you have to take advantage of the fact that they are there. Same with Kentucky, with a rookie head coach who's recruiting extremely well. You have to get them, because I don't know what they look like long term. I think it's on the up and up. Arkansas is recruiting pretty well too. I've seen a lot of commits coming through. So that's starting to pick up a little bit, I think, right?
I mean, ish. It's it's just, yeah, relatively for that. But I feel like, to be honest, I think Vanderbilt beats Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss is going to take steps back. I really do.
I would love to see that. It's in Nashville. That game's in Nashville. So
yeah. And I really hope for Arkansas' sake that's the case, because I feel like I'm saying, you're coming off that emotional high, but I like the chances a lot more if that ends up happening. But you're right, though. For Vanderbilt's sake, you better beat Arkansas. Like Arkansas, if you want to have a good year at Vanderbilt, you can't lose to Arkansas. But just like you lose to Kentucky, you can't lose to Mississippi State. Like you guys got a tough schedule, but it's like,
and I think if that happens, I think if you're right and they beat Ole Miss and then they go 3-0 through the stretch of Arkansas, Kentucky, Mississippi State, up next is a bye. Then you got Bama, Florida, Tennessee. I think 2-1 in that stretch is very doable. If you can win those prior games. Now, if it gets a little rocky for you at the beginning, then those games could get ugly at the end. But this middle stretch is going to dictate how the season ends, I think.
Yeah, I think you can absolutely go undefeated at home. Like if you're Vanderbilt, I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility. So if you just take care of business at home and then win 2 games on the road, look at that. You got your 7, 8, 9 win season right there.
Yeah, I mean it's very doable. I mean, if you can come into Alabama 7-2, worst case scenario, I think you can win that game. I think going down to the Swamp, I think that's going to be a loss. But then you get Tennessee at home. Things could go south for Tennessee too. I mean, they're in a similar situation with their quarterbacks. So it's really the SEC, John, is in a place to where it's very tight. There's not a lot of outliers out there. Even the Arkansas, as bad as they are, they're tough. They're going to compete. They're going to fight you. And there's no easy wins, I don't think, in this league this year. And things might, and this game might, as ugly as this game could turn out, the potential of that one way or the other. I think coming into it, you have teams, and Mississippi State's going to be the same way. Kentucky's going to be the same way as well. Obviously Vanderbilt's going to be that way, where you come in and the ball kicks off and you're like, I don't know. I don't have a clue how this is going to go, because you just, both teams are going to be competitive and you just don't know how it's going to unfold. But for Vandy, they're going to have that chip on their shoulder. For Arkansas, you hope they're going to have that chip on their shoulder, right?
I mean, what else do they got right now at this point? I mean, What do you got to lose? This if you're going to have, this is what I keep saying, but it's like, if you're Arkansas and you want to have a good year, you got to beat Vanderbilt. Like, yes, you got to win other games too, but that's a game that you could win. I mean, both teams have tough schedules, but that stretch that you were talking about with Vanderbilt, like Arkansas has that same one where it goes Vanderbilt, Missouri, Auburn, and South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's all four of those teams. Not saying Arkansas is going to win all four, but that's your best shot. That's your best stretch because you end the season at Texas and LSU at home. So it's like you got, and if you're going to do it, it starts with that Vanderbilt game. If you win that one, I think Arkansas can really go into the bye and get some momentum heading into those last 3 games. There's the next 3 games, but if they lose to Vanderbilt, man, it's going to be a really rough bye week trying to get ready for a Missouri team that you consistently lose to so many times, and it's so dumb that you do so.
Oh yeah, and let's say hypothetically you do go 4-0 in that stretch. Is a win against LSU, is a win against Texas on the table at that point?
No.
Okay.
Just, I mean, listen, it's like I would like to think that, but if Arkansas, first off, if Arkansas went 4-0 in that stretch, that puts them at pretty much a 6-7 win team. I hate to do that, but it's kind of ear check, but it's true. It's like, it's that way. But I don't know, I don't even put those thoughts into my head. I don't even want to think about that because there's no way it's happening. I don't even want to get my hopes up, but that's what's going to be interesting about this game though, is just right smack in the middle of the season and both teams. It's going to be a crucial one to see how their seasons go.
It's a bit of a crossroads, I think, for both teams. I think it's a bit of a, it could be an igniter, it could be a deflator, it could be something.
Yeah.
But it's one of those pivotal points at the season to where it could get ugly, or you might have something good on your hands, season wise. So it's very interesting, and I like where it's placed. I like the matchup. I like that it's in Nashville. I like that it's not 11 a.m. kick because they could have easily done that because it's Vandy and Arkansas is down, and obviously the logo on the side of Vandy's helmets would usually motivate them to, let's just throw them early every week, because it's Vandy. But luckily it's an afternoon game or a night game, depending on how the schedule shakes out. And if Vandy comes into that game at, what would it be, 4-2? If they can come into that game 4-2, you might get a night game. And if Arkansas beats Utah, which I think is in play there, it's possible. And I think KJ Jackson can present a lot of problems for Utah. They're dealing with some new coaching situations too. That could be a night game, and that would be a lot of fun. Nashville's rocking for night games. The last time, the Alabama game was a late afternoon, and they carried the goalpost down to the Cumberland River. So, well, John, this was fun, man. I look forward to circling back to this in October. Maybe we could do a live on Broadway when you're here. You're coming for the game, right?
Yeah, I plan on being there. We could do that because I'm sure it'll be going into that game the exact way that both me and you anticipate the season going. So it's going to be that.
We're just like that, John. That's what we do. We're just like that. So make sure you like, subscribe, follow John at John Nabors Show on social media, Locked On Razorbacks, wherever you get your podcasts, and on YouTube. Same with me, Locked On Vandy on all social platforms and wherever you get your podcast, and on YouTube as well. Both of us part of the Locked On Podcast Network, the #1 sports podcast network in all the land. For John Nabors, I'm Corey Burton. This has been a college crossover edition of Locked On Razorbacks and Locked On Vandy. And until next time, as always, take her down. Peace.
Cut.